Thank you very much, everyone, and good morning, and thank you, Vicky and Frames 2000 for inviting me over here. Thank you, Ashokji, for reminding me. He asked me as soon as I came here, "तुम actor लोग इतना जल्दी आ जाते हो जगहों पर?" It is a little early for me, yes. Of course, it's not showing on Victoria and Katrina. They're looking fresh as daisies. I want to crawl back into my bed. I mean, this is too early for me, but it's wonderful to be here. And thank you, Mitra Saab. Thank you, Harsh Saab. Thank you, Jim. Well, I'm to speak on the new connect between Hollywood and Bollywood, and I'd just create a bit of a... I normally don't read. I write on my fingers, points, and then kind of say them. But this is... I've just flown in from Kolkata. One of the few times I've been happy in Kolkata when I've gone there, because we've been winning. So I had to write this down. So I'll be reading a bit, don't mind, but I'll make it fast and quick, not necessarily intelligent. Okay, I'll make it intelligent also for the ones who didn't laugh. Well, I'll just start from what the first point on my finger would have said, Send Sexy India. And the reason I would have said Send Sexy is it's easier to read, quick. I've been seeing the upwardly mobile Sensex in India, and I get the idea that we're thriving as a nation. I hear speeches of the Finance Minister, the Honorable PM, talking about the Formula One speed of the growth of our GDP, and I believe we are one of the leading economies, or getting there, in the world. When I hear all this, I get very excited because I have my own theory about the growing and developed nations. In a developing nation, when the three necessities of life are fulfilled, or on their way to be fulfilled, as in our country, the focus shifts to the fourth most important desire of all human beings. The first three being, of course, roti, kapra, or makan, for the English-speaking audience, food, housing, and clothing. Obviously, we still have a long way to go before all are satisfied on these three counts, but desires are organic and not systematic. And we in India have moved on towards the fourth desire already. After roti, kapra, or makan, I think, the most essential thing for human beings is entertainment, and we are already there. The oldest modern form of entertainment in India is, of course, films. So we are now on the threshold of a huge burst in the business of film entertainment. Sports entertainment, I believe, will be the next to follow in India. What makes entertainment even more in focus around the world is that when an economy of a country starts to move positively, the regular people at large start to notice the entertainment format of that country because it is more readily available to see. Now with the internet and television, even more so. I do believe that entertainment is the packaging of a growing economy or a growing country. The aspect you notice and talk about the most. It happened some years back when we started to talk about Korean films. Before that, the Chinese films, and even earlier, Japanese films. The English and Hollywood films have been in focus for years now, as we all know too well. So the world is looking at India. The Indian economy has done the marketing for Bollywood, and it's a great time and place to be in it at this instant. Now this is the playing field we are at, just a bit of an introduction. The second part of my speech was to talk about Mumbai to Melrose, the road is shrinking. I wanted to use Bombay to Beverly Hills, but that kind of alliteration is not allowed, so I don't want to create new controversy, so I'll stick to Mumbai to Melrose. The road is truly shrinking. That's true, and we can see that all around us. We have Warner Brothers, Sony, and Disney in India making Hindi and regional films. Our friend Jim here, Fox and Star, has been kind enough and wonderful in starting the office with our film, My Name is Khan, and I'm sure we'll do many more film productions and distribution in India, as Jim has been talking about it so wonderfully. UTV is making Hollywood films, I've been told by Ronnie. Studio 18 and Eros are venturing into tie-ups with Hollywood studios. And Big Picture showed us an absolutely kick-ass presentation the other day, which actually made us aware that they might be buying the whole Hollywood, actually. All this is good news. In all these wonderful happenings around the world of entertainment, there is this one word which I keep hearing from Indian filmmakers, to which I have an aversion. That one word or term that disturbs me is that all Indian filmmakers keep chasing an elusive dream called the crossover film. What is a crossover film? I've heard of an action film, a romantic film, a comedic or a dramatic film. What is a crossover film? I think it is nothing at all. There is nothing known as a crossover film. I don't understand it, I've never understood it, and I don't think anyone is ever going to understand this term, the crossover film. Because if there was one, Hollywood our smarter cousin, would have already started making crossover films made in America and taken over the Indian film market. They have for years tried to bring their films and run them, as they do so successfully all over the world, but they sort of have not had that kind of success for some years now. They quickly realized that Indian viewer is used to a certain kind of cinema, which is unique to India. Its sentimentality, the songs, the drama, the mothers, all of what makes Bollywood cannot be replicated by Hollywood. So they quickly decided to release non-dialogue centric films and dub them in Indian languages. Films which Indians don't mind watching if the hero and heroines are not dancing. So we throng to see dinosaurs who don't dance, and Navi girls who don't sing. Maybe speak in Bhojpuri and Marathi instead, or Bengali. We need to take this cue from our smarter cousin. They've been here long enough, longer than any of us. Smarter cousin being Hollywood. And stop being stubborn about selling a dream of a 3-hour-long film, interval-laden cinematic offering, and hope for it to cross over. Let me say it plainly to all Bollywood filmmakers, this truly is my belief. This ship ain't crossing over the 7 seas, guys. Also, just in case we haven't realized, let me just clarify it, and everyone, especially the Indian guys, because we feel very proud, Slumdog isn't a Bollywood film. And as much as my friends Gurinder and Meera love India and Indian films, Monsoon Wedding and Bride and Prejudice are not Indian films. Bend It Like Beckham is not Bend It Like Bhaijan Bhutia from any angle. So how do we go forward with our desires to globalize Bollywood films? Because globalize we must. I think there is a need for a quid pro quo. I can't pronounce this word. Is that how you pronounce it? Quid pro quo? Yeah, okay. Quid pro quo relationship with Hollywood. I believe we need to welcome Hollywood films with open arms amidst us. Let them enjoy the benefits of this growing entertainment market in films and television. We should make alliances and allow them to make films here because we are cheap, not in that sense, but compared to the expensive filmmaking trends that they have set up in Hollywood. The investments will not be very high by their own standards, so they will be quite happy and satisfied. All of us who want to go there and make films in Hollywood, in the Hollywood style, I'm sure these studios will reciprocate and we will soon have our own Anglis from India working in Hollywood. Will Smith told me, I have met him, so let me show off. So what if I didn't meet James Cameron when he was here? He does 2 films a year, and I asked him how does he choose them? And he says, one of them I do, which sort of gives him creative artistic satisfaction as an actor. And the other one, he always does with a bigger superstar than himself, as a co-star. When I asked him, who would that be? He said, VFX and technology. And I feel so odd that on one hand, we have the biggest software developing industries of the world in this country, and somehow we are so lagging far behind in the usage in Indian films. We have the means to buy the machines, but we don't have trained mechanics to run them. That is the big investment we are looking from Hollywood. We need to develop people who can make us our own cheaper, better, faster softwares for filmmaking and have a special branch of trained visual effect teams and a talent here. As it is cheaper to make films here, let us ask our Hollywood counterparts to help us develop this industry. If we really want to go global, this is an important criteria. Look at the successes of Hollywood films in terms of blockbusters. If not all, then at least a majority of them have superstars bigger than Will Smith in them. This applies not only to the VFX, but to filmmaking technology in general. The most important aspect we need to adopt from the Hollywood films is the discipline and organization with which they do their business. This organization already exists in India and other businesses, but is woefully lacking in the business of films. This needs to filter down to our own distribution system of films, based on their models maybe, and most essential aspect that we need to learn from them is also the science of marketing the films, which we hardly do in our country.
इंडियन प्रीमियर लीग में सबसे ग्लैमरस, सबसे पॉपुलर टीम कोलकाता नाइट राइडर्स को 400 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा की लागत में खरीदा शाहरुख खान ने। सबसे महंगे और सबसे अच्छे प्लेयर्स खरीदे। अपनी टीम का जबरदस्त प्रमोशन किया, एक शानदार म्यूजिक वीडियो भी बनाया और वो सब कुछ किया जो किसी क्रिकेट टीम के लिए किया जाना चाहिए। मगर अफसोस, आईपीएल के पहले 2 सीजन्स में शाहरुख की टीम अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकी। लेकिन इसे शाहरुख का करिश्मा ही कहिए कि लगातार हार के बावजूद कोलकाता नाइट राइडर्स की ब्रांड वैल्यू आज भी बरकरार है।
The problem is I can't use any other brand because there is no one bigger than me.